The battle lines were not just drawn on the sands of North America, but across the so-called free world, wherever the paradigm of oppression and injustice reigned. South Africa symbolized a bastion of Dutch oppression. It affected not just Africans and Bushmen, but East Indians from the subcontinent and the races of mixed ancestry. And as we said earlier, whenever virtue declines, great voices will stand up and speak. And so Nelson Mandela arose, and he was tasked with sounding the war cry that would topple the dark forces of Dutch apartheid.
Dangers and difficulties have not deterred us in the past. They will not frighten us now. But we must be prepared for them like men in business who do not waste energy in vain talk and idle action. The way of preparation for action lies in our rooting out all impurity and in discipline from our organization, and making it the bright and shining instrument that will cleave its way to freedom. You can see that there is no easy walk to freedom anywhere, and many of us will have to pass through the valley of the shadow of death again and again before we reach the mountain tops of our desires.
As the horizon of our awareness expands, we realize that we have to go beyond mere outward respect for ourselves and our neighbors. That respect must engulf life, all beings. When we look at the bounty of the earth and our world today, we recognize that we live and move on a planet that teems with life. Indeed, the earth is a living creature, for no dead object can give life. And because life is naturally engendered through the feminine principle, we may rightly call this living planet Mother Earth, or Gaia, as the ancient Greeks did. Today, increasing numbers of people are recognizing the strand of life that is mysteriously woven in and through every living thing on our fragile planet. No people better characterize this deep sense of awe and respect for Mother Earth as the indigenous peoples. They know that the earth can survive without man, but man cannot survive without the earth. Those words were first uttered by Chief Seattle. He had the clarity of vision to see more than 100 years ago that not just our relations with each other mattered, but man's very relation with the earth herself needed urgent transformation as well, if we are to survive beyond the 20th and 21st century in the United States of the world. This is the frontier we're all facing now on planet Earth, regardless of creed, color, class, or nationality. Undoubtedly, the Bill of Rights must now be expanded to embrace our living Mother Earth.
The rivers are our brothers. They quench our thirst. The rivers carry our canoes and feed our children. If we sell you our land, you must remember and teach your children that the rivers are our brothers and yours, and henceforth give the rivers the kindness you would give any brother. We know the European doesn't understand our ways. One portion of land is the same to him as the next, for he is a stranger who comes in the night and takes from the land whatever he needs. The earth is not his brother, but his enemy, and when he has conquered it, he moves on. He leaves his father's grave behind, and he does not care. His father's grave and his children's birthright are forgotten. He treats his mother the earth and his brother the sky as things to be bought, plundered, sold like sheep or bright beads. His appetite will devour the earth and leave behind only a desert.
I do not know, but our ways are different than your ways. The sight of your cities pains the eyes of the red man. There is no quiet place in your cities. no place to hear the unfurling of leaves in spring, or the rustle of the insect's wings. The clatter only seems to insult the ears. And what is there to life if a man cannot hear the lonely cry of the whippoorwill, or the arguments of the frogs around the pond at night? I'm a red man and do not understand. The Indian prefers the soft sound of the wind darting over the face of a pond, and the smell of the wind itself, cleaned by midday rain, or scented with pinon pine.
The air is precious to the red man, for all things share the same breath. The beast, the tree, the man, they all share the same breath. The European does not seem to notice the air he breathes. Like a man dying for many days, he is numb to the stench. But if we sell you our land, you must remember that air is precious to us. The air shares its spirit with all the life it supports. The wind that gave our grandfather his first breath also receives his last sigh. If we sell you our land, you must keep it apart, sacred, as a place where even a European can go, taste the wind that is sweetened by meadows' flowers. So we will consider your offer to buy our land. If we decide to accept, I will make one condition. The European must treat the beasts of this land as his brothers. I am a savage and do not understand any other way. I have seen 1,000 rotting buffaloes on the prairie left by the European who shot them from a passing train. I am a savage and do not understand how the smoking iron horse can be made more important than the buffalo that we kill only to stay alive.
Your destiny is a mystery to us, for we do not understand when the buffalo are all slaughtered, the wild horses tamed, the secret corners of the forest heavy with the scent of many men, and the view of the ripe hills blotted by talking wires. Whatever befalls the earth, befalls the sons of the earth.
This we know. The earth does not belong to man. Man belongs to the earth. This we know. All things are connected like the blood which unites one family. All things are connected.
There can be no greater indication of the swiftly moving tide of global transformation than the events of November 5th, 2008. The 2008 US elections were followed with intense expectation across the entire globe. Once again, the people of the United States of America demonstrated to the world that they could boldly renew the vision of their society.
Hello, Paramaribo! If there's anyone out there who still doubts that America is a land where all things are possible, who still wonders if the dream of our founders is alive in our time, who still questions the power of our democracy, tonight is your answer. It's the answer told by lines that stretched around schools and churches in numbers this nation has never seen, by people who waited 3 hours and 4 hours, many for the first time in their lives, because they believe that this time must be different, that their voices could be that difference. It's the answer spoken by young and old, rich and poor. It's the answer that led those who've been told for so long by so many to be cynical and fearful and doubtful about what we can achieve to put their hands on the arc of history and bend it once more towards the hope of a better day. It has been a long time coming. But tonight, because of what we did on this day, in this election, at this defining moment, that change has come to America.
I was never the likeliest candidate for this office. We didn't start with much money or many endorsements. our campaign was not hatched in the halls of Washington. It began in the backyards of Des Moines, and the living rooms of Concord, and the front porches of Charleston. It was built by the working men and women who dug into what little savings they have to give $5 and $10 and $20 to the cause. It grew strength from the young people who left their homes and their families for jobs that offered little pay and less sleep. It grew strength from the not so young people who braved the bitter cold and the scorching heat to knock on doors of perfect strangers. And from the millions of Americans who volunteered and organized and proved that more than 2 centuries later, a government of the people, for the people, and by the people has not yet perished from the earth. This is your victory. The road ahead will be long, and the climb will be steep. We might not get there in 1 year, or even in 1 term. But America, I have never been more hopeful than I am tonight that we will get there. I promise you. We as a people will get there.
This election has had many firsts and many stories that will be told for generations. But one that's on my mind tonight is about a woman who cast her ballot in Atlanta. She's a lot like the millions of others who stood in line to make their voices heard in this election, except for one thing. Ann Nixon Cooper is 106 years old. She was born just a generation past slavery, a time when there were no cars on the road or planes in the sky, when someone like her couldn't vote for 2 reasons: because she's a woman and because of the color of her skin. And tonight, I think about all that she's seen throughout her century in America. The heartache and the hope, the struggle and the progress. The times we're told that we can't, and the people who pressed on with that American creed, yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
At a time when women's voices were silenced and their hopes dismissed, she lived to see them stand up and speak out and reach for the ballot, yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
When there is despair in the Dust Bowl and depression across the land, she saw a nation conquer fear itself with new jobs, New Deal, and a new sense of common purpose. Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
When the bombs fell on our harbor and tyranny threatened the world, she lived to see a generation rise to greatness and a democracy was saved. Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
She was there for the buses in Montgomery, the hoses in Birmingham, a bridge in Selma, and a preacher from Atlanta who told the people, we shall overcome. Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
A man touched down on the moon. A wall came down in Berlin. A world was connected by our own science and imagination. And this year, in this election, she touched her finger to a screen and cast her vote. Because after 106 years in America, through the best of times and the darkest of hours, she knows how America can change. Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
America, we have come so far. We have seen so much, but there's so much more to do. So tonight, let us ask ourselves, if our children should live to see the next century, if my daughter should be so lucky as to live as long as Ann Nixon Cooper, what change will they see? What progress will we have made? This is our chance to answer that call. This is our moment. This is our time. Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can.